You've heard about Jesus on the cross. You know about the nails, the crown of thorns, the crucifixion itself, but what if I told you that something happened that isn't mentioned in most Bibles, a story so hidden, so powerful that only the Ethiopian Orthodox Church preserves it, and it involves two of the most powerful angels, Michael and Uriel, doing something unthinkable with the blood of Christ. If you've never heard this before, you're about to discover one of the most fascinating hidden events. Before we start, we'd like to ask for your support. If you enjoy our video, please hit the like button. This will help us reach more people and create content for you. Now let's get started with today's video. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church preserves a rich and deeply spiritual tradition that offers a remarkable and awe-inspiring perspective on the crucifixion of Jesus, one that places Ethiopia directly at the heart of divine history. Central to this tradition are the roles of two powerful archangels, Michael, heaven's mightiest warrior, and Uriel, the illuminating messenger whose presence is often hidden from Western canon but revered in Ethiopian theology. The spear, the blood, and the hidden witnesses. The canonical Gospel of John, 19:33-34, tells us that when Roman soldiers came to break Jesus' legs, a common crucifixion method to hasten death, they found him already dead. Instead of breaking his legs, one soldier pierced Jesus' side with a spear, and immediately, blood and water flowed out. This moment was rich with theological and prophetic fulfillment. Psalm 34 verse 20, "Not one of his bones will be broken." And Zechariah 12 verse 10, "They will look upon the one they have pierced," converged in an act no man intended to fulfill prophecy, but did. Yet while Scripture tells us what happened in the physical realm, Ethiopian Orthodox tradition lifts the veil and lets us glimpse what happened in the spiritual realm. Uriel's chalice, the hidden act at Calvary. According to the ancient homily on the Archangel Uriel, a sacred text revered in Ethiopian Orthodoxy, Archangel Uriel was present at the foot of the cross during Jesus' crucifixion, but invisible to human eyes. When the soldier pierced Jesus' side and blood began to flow, Uriel stepped forward, not as a mere observer, but as a divine participant. Clothed in radiant light and reverence, Uriel extended a chalice of divine origin, a luminous cup of celestial craftsmanship, and carefully collected the blood that flowed from Jesus' pierced side. The Ethiopian tradition speaks of Uriel dipping one of his wings into the wound, absorbing the sacred blood, and transferring it into the chalice. This moment wasn't symbolic. It was a sacred act of sanctification. But why? What was the purpose of collecting Christ's blood? Where was it going? Michael and Uriel's divine journey to Ethiopia. Joined by Archangel Michael, Uriel embarked on a divine journey across time and space, carrying the most sacred substance in all of human history, the blood of the Lamb. As the story unfolds, the two archangels soared from Jerusalem to the highlands of Ethiopia. Their mission was clear: to sanctify the land with Christ's blood, marking Ethiopia as chosen soil, a holy ground prepared long before any missionaries set foot there. They sprinkled drops of Jesus' blood across the rugged landscapes, valleys, and mountains of Ethiopia, each droplet falling like divine seeds, consecrating sites that would later become monasteries, churches, and holy sanctuaries. This act of heavenly cartography was not random. It was precise, purposeful, and prophetic. Ethiopia, a land chosen before the world knew. What makes this tradition so powerful is how it weaves Ethiopia directly into the divine plan of salvation. While Roman soldiers gambled for Jesus' garments, and his followers wept beneath the cross, God was already preparing Ethiopia to become a light of Christianity. Unlike other nations who received Christianity centuries later through evangelists, Ethiopia, according to its Orthodox Church, was spiritually connected to the crucifixion itself. Its soil was anointed by angels. Its mountains were marked by the Messiah's blood, and its people would one day rise as torchbearers of the ancient faith. This belief helps explain why Ethiopia became one of the first nations in the world to declare Christianity as its state religion in the 4th century under King Ezana. But according to the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, the spiritual preparation began centuries earlier, on Good Friday, at the foot of the cross. Theological significance of the blood collection. To the Ethiopian Orthodox, This blood wasn't only a symbol of forgiveness. It was also a bridge, linking Christ's sacrifice with a chosen land and people. Uriel's chalice became more than an artifact. It represented a covenant, a calling, and a commission. This act is reflected deeply in Ethiopian Orthodox worship. The Holy Communion, known as kides or kise, centers on reverence for the blood of Christ. When believers receive the cup, they're not just partaking in a symbol, they're entering into a living, historical, spiritual inheritance. It's as if, in that moment, they stand with Uriel beneath the cross. Art as theology, the cup in Uriel's hands. Unlike Western Christian art, which often overlooks Uriel entirely, Ethiopian iconography reveres him. Across churches and monasteries, Uriel is depicted holding a radiant cup filled with red liquid. Sometimes his wings are tipped red, representing the moment they touch the blood-soaked side of Christ. These images aren't just decorative, they're catechetical, theological, and spiritual. They're visual affirmations of Ethiopia's unique bond with the crucified Christ. In churches like those in Lalibela and Debre Damo, Uriel's image draws worshippers into contemplation, reminding them of their sacred history and identity. Uriel, in these depictions, is more than a figure. He is a living memory, a divine witness, and a national guardian. Why Uriel was left out of the canon? It's worth noting that Uriel, despite his importance in many ancient texts, including 1 Enoch, 2 Esdras, and Ethiopian Christian writings, was excluded from the Western biblical canon. Why? Part of the reason lies in early church debates over what should be considered scripture. Texts like 1 Enoch and 2 Esdras were revered in many early Christian communities, and even quoted in the New Testament, but were eventually set aside by Western councils. The angel Uriel, prominent in those works, was left in the shadows, except in churches like the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, which retained these sacred traditions. In 1 Enoch, Uriel is the angel who warns Noah of the coming flood, reveals the mysteries of the heavens, and stands as a guardian of divine wisdom. In 2 Esdras, he answers deep theological questions and interprets visions. His role is consistent, revealing God's hidden truths to those ready to receive them, a tradition that endures. While some may question the historical veracity of Uriel's role at the crucifixion, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church holds this tradition as sacred truth, preserved through homilies, liturgy, iconography, and oral transmission. It's not just a story, it's an identity, a living history. And in a world where Christianity has often been portrayed through European lenses, the Ethiopian tradition reminds us that Africa was never an afterthought in God's plan. It was there, in spirit, in purpose, in blood. Please subscribe my YouTube channel. I hope you like this video. Thank you.